I want to say, is there someone who's supposed to introduce me?
Yes, I got you.
Oh, okay.
We've had one or two speakers who were very eager to introduce themselves, but I'm here to help you.
Just for Freddie Mercury, just kind of hold it up.
You can do it if you want, but it's not required. All right, welcome to our third session this afternoon, where our next guest is Simon Cornelius. Said that right? Yep. Hooray! All right, a little bit about Simon. With a distinctive blend of his software engineering background and hands-on SEO experience, Simon offers a unique perspective into technical SEO. Recognizing that often confusing nature of SEO, he excels in simplifying its most challenging concepts to help educate and raise the skill level of other SEO professionals. A familiar face at SEO conferences, Simon is set to shed light on the role of entities and how to craft content to build semantic relevance in your content. All right, put your hands together for Simon.
Thank you very much. And by the way, that was partially written by ChatGPT. Again, it needed a lot of input. So I will tell you one thing today, that when you leave this room today, you'll be looking at entities in a whole different light. At about 2 o'clock tomorrow morning, you'll wake up because you'll be having dreams about entities. And it's like being in the Matrix. So my goal today is to transform your understanding of what is an entity. Why is it even important? Why am I up here for the next 3 hours I've got, right? About 400 slides later. Why is it so important? So 2 o'clock tomorrow morning, set your alarm clock because, well, don't set it because you'll wake up and think, dang, that guy over there with the Ferrari shirt. There's a reason why I put this on besides being cold. You'll see it later on. Now, how many of you are in these presentations? You're like, oh my God, my head's exploding. I understood what words they were using, but the next day, like, what were they talking about? Your head's exploding. Anyone besides me? Okay, 2 people. All right, let me ask you this. Is there anyone in this room who won't put up their hand no matter what I ask? One person who's honest. Thank you, sir. All right, so the rest of you, will you participate? Here's why. I might be the only person you'll ever see in your entire life of conferences who will put up a slide like this. And I learned this years ago. How many of you would like to get more out of it? And by the way, all these slides will be in the slide deck. So unless you're taking a picture of me, oral, there's no need to take any pictures. You'll get all of these slides afterwards. How many of you would like to get more out of this presentation? Ooh, some honest people. And the rest of you don't care. You're here for the entertainment. Great. The absolute worst way of learning anything is by listening to a lecture. Oh, we've been there before, so you won't get a lecture from me. The next worst way of learning something is by reading something like a book, maybe a PowerPoint. There's just nothing in there, just words. That's the absolute worst way. The best way, because you gave me permission to help you understand this more, the best way to learn about this subject is by practicing doing and teaching others. So you're all teachers in this room. Is that cool? That's cool, Simon. And there's some cards in here. So if you are late, shame on you, but there's some cards in here that I would like you to take. And if I told you not to look at the cards, you'll do it anyway. So just take the card and deal with it. So I'm going to ask you at this time to get uncomfortable in doing some things I'll ask you. Is that all right? If you said no, then too bad. So, shall we play a game? Who knows what this is in reference to? War games, thank you. Here's a paragraph of text. Now, I'd like you to look at that, and if you can't figure it out, then you can't figure it out. But how many of you in this room would know what this text is about? Anyone take a wild guess? So, grammar and punctuation. Okay, good guess. Anyone else? Sandwich. Why did you say a sandwich? What I've done here. Okay.
It's about missing context, missing things,
missing entities. So what I've done in here is given you some text. I've removed all the nouns. Okay. Or the adjectives, the verbs, I didn't do too well in English language in school. We have a lexicon, or we have We have a special guest in here who will do a presentation tomorrow. But Mandy, you're familiar with all this like lexical stuff, right? Only now you got some clues. Now, what if I was to just give you the nouns? This is just the nouns. Now, how many of you in this room still can't understand what that piece of text is about if I just give you the nouns? No? Nobody. So this is the full context of it. To make a ham sandwich, blah, 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 blah. But if you recall, all I've done is removed the nouns, and then showed you the nouns, and you had a completely different perspective. Is that good? Does that make sense? Okay. Absolutely. Yeah. And by the way, I like feedback. I move around a lot because I'm excited about this stuff. Okay, cool. So I thought there was another thing here. All right. A simple definition. I'm going to tell you something, then tell your neighbor when I finish the slide, okay? An entity is basically the same as a noun. So tell your neighbor what a noun or what an entity is. Look to your neighbor, whichever one, don't have to. Entity is a noun, okay? Almost. It's a person, a place, or thing, and it usually has a Wikipedia page. So if you're not sure if that noun is an entity, go to where? Wikipedia, cool. I like how you guys are playing on. And it's like a digital idea card. So think of this like that card you have in front of you. This is an idea card about what the entity is all about. So in front of you, you have, what card do you have here? You have the Ford Falcon. Is that the Mad Max thing? The Mad Max. Okay. So you've got some pretty cool cards in front of you. These are like cards that describe what the entity is all about. Now, why I gave this to you will become more important and apparent later on. We've talked about relationships in the past. We've heard it, AI, with schema. Who was in the schema class this morning? Yeah, a few of you? So she talked a lot about relationships to other entities, a lot. A ham sandwich. Let's go back to the ham sandwich. I know we didn't have ham sandwiches at lunch, but every time you see a sandwich from now on, every time you go to a Subway, you'll think of me, you'll think of this picture, I guarantee. Don't think of a ham sandwich next time you're in Subway, right? I know you can't see this and you're not supposed to. This is an entity representation of a simple ham sandwich. Anyone ever made a sandwich before in your life? Or been to a Subway sandwich shop? 3 of you. Okay, the rest of you, like, I don't know, takeouts? Who knows? I can't even read it from here either. So let's break this down. Let's zoom in and see what makes up an entity of a ham sandwich, which, by the way, a ham sandwich in of itself is an entity. You can go to Wikipedia, and there's a Wikipedia page about ham sandwiches. Now, in this slide over here, what I've done is broken down, let's see here, where's my thing? There we go. This is the entity of a ham sandwich. Can you all see it at the back? You've got like supervision, great. Now, there are different types of ham sandwiches, isn't there? Right? Is your question? There are, what do you call them? They're made, or I don't know, artificial ham sandwiches. Beyond meat. There we go. Yeah. Yeah. But it's a type of a ham sandwich. Yes? Would you agree? There are like traditional sandwiches. There's kid sandwiches. There are grilled ham sandwiches. There we go. Vegetarian alternatives. There are different types of ham sandwiches. Yes? Okay. Now, when you make a ham sandwich, you've got to put something in it to make a sandwich. Yes? So you have these things called ingredients. We're tracking with me? Say, I'm tracking. So what kind of ingredients do you put into a ham sandwich? Anyone? Just shout them out. Tomatoes, cheese, ham, bread, mayonnaise. Who said anchovies? No? Okay. So Lisa, did you say anchovies? No. Okay, cool. So you have all sorts of ingredients. Now, the ingredients are like the attributes of the entity. Okay? Attributes or properties. is what I'm calling ingredients here. And you have all these ingredients, including, thank you, Lisa, anchovies in there to make up your ham sandwich. So let's talk about relationships. If there's one thing that you take away from this presentation today, and one thing only, it's about knowing that there are relationships between entities. Who likes relationships? Okay, I can half of you. Who are the ones who never put up their hand no matter what I ask? Okay, those, I know who you are. So the ham sandwich has got connections with its ingredients. We call those connections or relationships to other entities. So you have an entity in here. How many of you have heard like the 6 degrees of separation? Yeah, like you might be related to like Elvis Presley or someone. I actually met someone who is the second cousin to Elvis, for real. And he lives in Dallas somewhere. But a good friend of mine is actually directly related or second cousin, twice removed or something to Elvis, the real Elvis. There's also related entities to ham sandwiches like gluten-free, kid-friendly, vegan, vegetarian, grilled ham. All those are related entities, okay? Any questions so far? Is it too simple? I'm trying to keep it simple, trying to keep it light. I'm trying to keep it engaged because if you understand this, my job is done. Now, bread. If you go into Subway, do they ask you what kind of bread you want? Or how many choices do they have? 5, lots, right? I mean, back in the day when I was growing up, we would just have a loaf of bread would be white. There was none of this like brown bread, white bread, spelt bread. It was just white bread. That's the only choice you had. But now you got a million choices. Oat bread, rye, multigrain, pumpernickel, spelt, sourdough, and good old white. But there's a lot more. So now when you go in to buy a ham sandwich, you've got all these varied entities of types of bread, yes? What about ham? There's some ham I've never heard of before. Parma ham? Anyone had that before? It's a thing. Capicola. Anyone heard of capicola? Wow. I've never heard of that. Is it good? Okay. But I bet you when you go to Subway, they won't have that ham for you. So is this making sense so far? There's different types of ham to make the different types of sandwiches. How about lettuce? Remember, you got lettuce, onion, tomato, and the anchovies to go in there. So you have frizzy. I've never heard of frizzy lettuce. Anyone? No? Different types of lettuce. Different types of onions. Walla Walla onions, anyone? That's a real thing. Walla Walla onions. I have to Google that one. By the way, ChatGPT helped me find these different types of onions. So if you try Walla Walla onions and it's like, these are disgusting, blame it on ChatGPT, not me. Like tomatoes. There's lots of different types of tomatoes. So you'll see these in the slides afterwards. Okay, let's take a quick break so I can have a drink of water. Any questions so far, by the way? Anyone asleep?
Nope.
No. Good.
I think we're all just soaking it in.
Soaking it in. This is where it gets meaty. So I wanted to explain something in really simple terms. I'm treating you like, and this is not meant for any disrespect, it's like 5th graders, because you have to understand, this is how I learn. Super simple stuff in terms that I can understand of a very complex subject. So the shift from keyword-based to entity-based search, what does that mean? Google and Bing and everyone else, they understand the relationships between words, but not keyword matching anymore. Before, it would be best sandwich shop in Grapevine. And that would be the keywords that you were going for. But now what Google is doing, it understands the relationships between the type of sandwich you want and where you are. So that's the relationships. Remember I said relationships are important? Yes? What's important? Yeah, you bet. And keyword stuffing no longer works. But entity stuffing, nudge, nudge, wink, wink. Okay? Search engines are now focused on entities because they've evolved over the years. And that's really only been recent, like 2 or 3 years when this has really taken into effect. Because they're trying to figure out, what does the user really want? You know, we had that helpful content update recently. This is really going to help. Okay, entities versus keywords. This is what I could figure out. The main differences between an entity and a keyword. What is an entity? It's really an idea or a thing with a deeper meaning. So, like one of these cards, by the way. Okay, anyone here was late and didn't get one of these cards? Put your hand up or stand up so we can point at you. Okay, all right, just pass one of these back. Okay, anyone else who not putting up their hand because they don't want to be embarrassed by me? No? Okay, cool. So an entity is basically an idea about something, whereas a keyword is just specific words, okay? Connections. An entity is, oh, there's that word again. They're related to other things. My friend MJ is related to Elvis Presley. And in fact, his last name is Presley as well. But so there is a connection there. Whereas keywords, they just stand on their own. It's like a box of words. You're just pulling out words trying to make sense of them. User intent. Google knows the intent behind what the user is searching for when you're talking with semantics. Knowledge graph. Let's see here. Anyone not know what the knowledge graph really means? Because I sure as heck didn't, maybe up to about 2 years ago. Okay, everyone knows what the knowledge graph is? No? Okay. Got one person who's honest. The rest of you going, either you're asleep or you're just enthralled by my humor up here, or something at least. So figure on the knowledge graph is like a humongous database of stuff. It knows it's like billions and billions of things out there. People, places, things, organizations. And it's collecting data on everything about everything. Okay, Google is a data-hungry beast. And it knows about the relationships. It knows about the relationship between Lisa liking anchovies, or her love of anchovy sandwiches. Shh, don't. Well, you sat at the front. What do I expect? And by the way, the people that sit at the front are 80% more attractive than the rest of you. And they're also going to learn more from this presentation. So there's 2 empty seats up here if you're willing to upgrade yourself. Okay. Let's see. It's just a massive database of information. I have a graphic. I'm a very visual learner. Words, like I said before, words don't do it for me, but pictures do. I love pictures. An entity card. Well, you have in front of you basically what is an entity card. And like I said before, you got to feed Google with all this information. Now, I'm going to get to a point soon, but you have to have this background information. This is what I deem what is an entity graph, or sorry, a knowledge graph. There we go. The billions and billions and billions of entities that are known about by Google, along with all the relationships. So obviously I can't fit it all in there. Now the point of this presentation is for you to make the connection between this massive network of a database of entities, known entities, to your website. That's your goal, and that's my goal with this presentation, to help you make the connection between this and your little tiny website. I'm going to show you some tricks on how to do that. Are we good? Okay. Anyone asleep yet? Okay. By the way, don't walk in front of these projectors because now I can't see anything. Right. Every good presentation needs to have an animal. So this is our cat. We call him Buggy for obvious reasons. So it's a cute cat. Everyone go, aww. Aww. Okay. If you don't like cats, no big deal. Now, why is this important? There's an app. It used to only be available on Android called Google Lens. Now, I took a picture of Buggy on my desk. He likes to help. Okay, help in quotes. I took a picture of him and I ran it through Google Lens. And I said, what is this? To my surprise, it said, this is a Maine Coon cat. It didn't say it's a cat. It said it's a Maine Coon cat. Now, it gave me some other ones like, I guess, Dragon Lee and Chantilly Tiffany, who might be famous cats. But the fact that it knew that it was a Maine Coon cat should shock you and surprise you and give you hope. Why is this important, anyone? What's that? And identify the breed. Now, how can you use that in your website? Assuming it's not about cats. Or you had a question? Or no? Exactly. Google can read images. Now, why is this important? I was auditing a client site recently. It is an HVAC website. Yes. They had a blog post about something, but inside the blog post, the featured image was a picture of a kitchen. Had cupboards, it had lamps on the table. How on earth does Google know what that image is about? It's about a kitchen. It's a picture of a kitchen. How does Google infer any meaning from that as it relates to an HVAC website? It doesn't, does it? So this clue over here is make sure that when you put images on your site, at least make it specific to the topic that you're talking about. Can we all do that? Don't go to your deposit photos or Pexels. I think I found it on Pexels. And it had this stupid long-ass name, didn't make any sense. And it's on an HVAC site. So do yourself a favor, find an image that reflects what's on the page. Can we all do that? Like say, I'm not using stock images, or I'm not using random images from Pexels, okay? No more Pexel random images, okay? Good deal. Okay, say bye, Buggy. Bye, thank you. So relationships. I will keep using this word and just like imprint it in your brain. So you'll wake up at 2 o'clock tomorrow morning and your first word you'll think of is going to be relationships or my cat. So define your entities. Your job is to define your entities on a given page and tell the search engines about, relationships with other known entities. How do we do that? We use schema. So Martha had a really good presentation. If you missed it, too bad, but you will see it in the replays. And also content. Oh, hey, Chris, thanks for showing up. Are you late? Okay. Give Chris a card, would you? Say, I'm late. What this does, this builds up Google's knowledge graph entity cards. That big presentation I did, or the big image, this one here, this is what you're trying to do. You're trying to add to Google's knowledge graph. Your tiny website over there, you're trying to add to this massive database, right? If you do that and the competition doesn't, it's game over. Let's see here. There's Buggy, there's entity cards. So an entity card, you go to Google and you type ham sandwich. Guess what? This comes up. Great. And I didn't know this, but the place of origin was where I was born. This place east of New Jersey called United Kingdom. And it says it's got main ingredients, place of origin, cool. So this is an entity card. There's no reason why you can't build entity cards about your website. Dallas, Texas. There's a word in here, which I know you can't read it, and even if I highlight it, you can't see it anyway. It's called a demonym. Anyone know what a demonym is? No one? Nope. Go Google it. You'll be interested. You can go down a rabbit hole, but it might totally confuse you. But demonyms are like derivatives of people that belong in Dallas or associated with Dallas. But these are entity cards. So your job is to build up enough relationships with known entities in your website that Google now likes to give you an entity card. Clear aligners. I do a lot of work with medical professionals, especially dentists. So they're always trying to promote Invisalign or ClearCorrect or something else like that. So I had a really good thought, but I lost it. So clear aligners. I'm going to give you a tip here that I don't think is in the slides, but if you have a dentist, let's say ABC Dental, and they're in Grapevine, and you offer Invisalign. Well, you have to tell Google about the relationship between clear aligners and ABC Dental. How do you do that? Well, you say simply in a sentence, ABC Dental offers clear aligners at their dental practice on 123 Elm Street in Grapevine, Texas. Tell Google this is what you do and where you do it. Don't just have a big old page about clear aligners. Tell them that you offer it. Not many people do that. I know we laugh, and I look at this like, just tell people you're doing it, because all they're trying to do is build those relationships. Exactly. All right, entity cards. Shall we play another game? We up for games? Okay. Take a look at your cards in front of you. And anyone not have a card that was super late? Okay. Have a look at the card and look to the person next to you. Just find someone who you felt is like the best looking person next to you. And then compare the two cards that you have. Or if you like, there's 3 people, just compare the 2 cards, all right?
Both of them.
All right, time's up. Hey, time's up. So who shall I pick on? Let's pick on, I know I picked on Lisa. All right, you guys are having way too much fun.
You didn't tell us we had to listen to you anymore.
Well, who has the coolest card in the room?
Me?
Okay, why does Lisa have the coolest card?
Because I have the Jetsons.
Okay, stand up, Lisa. Okay. Anyone ever played this game before, Top Trumps? No? Okay, I did as a kid, and I had Formula One cars. Oh, look, I'm wearing a Formula One Ferrari shirt. Ooh, there's lots of entities. Who can see what entities are on this shirt? Shell, UPS,
the Ferrari logo.
Ferrari, Puma. Oh, stuff on the side. Isn't it cool? Like Ferrari, like Formula One, the companies. I paid like $80 for this shirt at a Formula One race about 10 years ago. And all these sponsors pay insane amounts of money to Ferrari to put it on their shirt, which I pay $80 for. So and all these entities are hopefully making money. So Lisa said that she has the coolest car in here. It's the Jetsons. Mm-hmm. Okay, what makes it seem the coolest car?
Well, to me right now, it seems like it's the coolest because we're actually living in some of the things that are happening right now with the Jetsons, like some of the kinds of technology and AI. Right. And that's why I think it's the coolest one.
So out of these attributes on this card here, which of these do you feel that no one else can do better than you? Which attribute?
Oh, I don't know that. I don't know. It doesn't say that on here anywhere.
You got these things over here.
Yeah.
Okay, the cool factor,
I would say the fame level, 75.
75 is a fame level.
Yeah.
Okay, so you think that's going to be pretty cool? 75 is a fame level?
It's pretty high, I think.
70, how much?
75.
75. Who has, thanks Lisa, give Lisa a round of applause. I pick on her a lot. Who has a car that's higher with the fame level than 75? All right. Lisa, look around. Right. Okay, Scotty has one that's better than 75. What do you have, Scotty?
American Graffiti card. American Graffiti card.
And what level does it have?
It is 79.
79. Ooh, okay. Who can do better than 79? Okay, you're close. What is your name?
VJ.
DJ?
Yeah, I have a DeLorean time machine, and it's 98, the fame level.
Oh, DeLorean time at 98. Anyone beat 98? No. Anyone else have a DeLorean time machine on their card? No? Okay, cool. So that is an example of an entity card in action, okay? And you'll take these home, and when you wake up tomorrow morning at 2:15 in the morning, you'll have this entity card underneath your pillow. Like, oh, dang it. He told me not to wake up at 2:15 in the morning. What did I do? I woke up at 2:15 in the morning. So this is an entity card. And why is this important? Simon, why is this important? Let's start putting all this stuff, this fun. Let's get time to get serious, right? Can we get serious now for a few minutes? Let's put this stuff to use. We talked about Invisalign. And I'm doing this for a client, not Invisalign, but another, it's a really cool niche, about how to be the authority on the topic of fill in the blank. Okay? Does anyone want to be the authority on any given topic for your client? No one? Good. I like when no one puts their hands up because that means that I've lost all my competition. Like, yay! Your job is to cover more. Can you all hear me still so far? Okay, cool. Ooh. So your job is to cover more, have more coverage about this particular topic than anyone else in the country. Now, I deal in local clients, but what if I was to get more coverage than anyone in the entire country? Would that be cool? Do you think I might be able to dominate a little bit better? So if you're in a rinky-dink town like, say, I don't know, Grapevine, Texas, and you start grabbing all the entities from companies in, say, New York, California, Los Angeles, San Francisco, wherever, you might pick up a few more brownie points in terms of your content, yes? So your job is to keep the pages focused and keep it on topic. You want to talk about the features and benefits and outcome, and we're talking about Invisalign here, but if it wasn't Invisalign, just put your own topic in there. Now, if it gets too big, like one page I just wrote was 3,500 words, like, oh, and I'm just getting going, so I need to split it up into something else. So my strategy here, and if you were taking pictures, you could take a picture of this, but since you're getting the slides, don't waste your film because you don't need to do that anymore. Film, yeah. Remember, anyone like still use film? No? Okay. Like we just went to Mexico and my wife took probably 1,000 pictures. Could you imagine if you had like, was it 36 pictures to a roll you used to get or something? That's like 300 or whatever rolls of film. Oh my God. But vinyl is coming back, right? I went, there's a record store in Stonebriar Mall, like full of all these Gen X's. Like, whoa, I've got a like 3 feet box full of records in my house, but no record player. But they're coming back into fashion. I digress. What do? So I search for Invisalign, maybe Invisalign Dentist Plus City. The city could be Dallas, New York, San Francisco, LA, all the big places, and I get all of their inner pages. So it has to be abcdentist.com/Invisalign, something or other. That's my first job. It takes a lot of time to do this. Oh, I'm lazy, by the way, just so you know. So I get all of the inner pages for all the local dentists in the entire country in the big metroplex areas. So now I've got hundreds of pages I want to go through. I want to ask them, what entities do I find on these pages? Okay, everyone who ranks high should have a good amount of entities on that page about something to do with Invisalign. Like just combine the whole thing and take out anything that is not semantically relevant to the topic of, in this case, is Invisalign. We good so far? Okay. So you're getting some ideas. I'm going to go back, today's Monday, you might go back on Wednesday, go like, hey, what's a good niche that anyone's in? I guess they're all good niches, but local business. What's that? Garage doors. Do you know anything about garage doors? So now you're going to go back and do garage door repair and pick a major city or major cities all around the country. Okay? And we're going to take you some time. Yeah. So I told you I'm lazy, and I know you can't read this, but you can on the slides that you'll get. I wanted to do this, but I couldn't. Either I'm too cheap or I'm too lazy. So I built a tool that just goes and scrapes all the entities from all the pages I want. Like what I did here, and these aren't my clients. I just did a search for Invisalign dentist in Dallas, and I put in my client site, which is not my client site, but supposing it was, I found a website that was way down, like page, well, it would have been page 3 until we had infinite scroll. And I said, okay, who are the ones at the top? So I pulled up, in this case, I think 5 competitors who were ranking high up in the search results. I said, tell me what entities appear on these pages. So the tool I wrote goes out and scrapes for all the entities on all those pages, said, basically, here's all the entities that it found. How many times did the word tooth come up? 13 times on my target. The other side, like 4, 5, 14, 55, 21, but clear aligners showed up 2, 3, 2, 2, 8, 2, and 2. Now, I wanted to see how many of these entities show up in at least 2 or more pages. Why would I do that? Why 2 or more? Well, why would it be an outlier? Which could be, I'll just give it the answer, it could be a brand name. So could be like ABC Dental could be a brand name, a big brand name, and it's an entity in of itself. So I want to ignore those. And then here it is zoomed in. My job is to take the yellow line, which is my target site, up to about just above the average of every other site that I went through, right? So now I've got more entity density and the right entities in my page. Make sense? Does anyone not make sense of this? Am I putting you to sleep? No? Okay. Do you want to play a game? No? Okay. No more games.
If you want to.
Now, what is really cool about this, what really gets me excited, is when I see all the entities that my tool found and the words on the right-hand side which triggered this entity. Because remember, it's no longer about keyword search, it's about semantic search. So these are all the keywords or words that are related to the entity that I want to rank for. Cool? So now I can sprinkle my content with all these different types of words. So you can probably read all this later on, but basically I go fill in the blanks. I make a template. You can ask ChatGPT to create a template for you. You go put content in there that is all about these entities. And that, my friends, is how you create this huge page. You want me in the picture? No? That's how you create this page of really rich, dense entity content that no one else is doing, because quite honestly, a lot of people are just using ChatGPT hey, write me a page about Invisalign. I'm a dentist in Dallas. And ChatGPT writes this 1,000 words of rubbish content, and you wonder why it doesn't get ranked. This is how you do the work, and this is how you get results. And anyone in here have a Your Money, Your Life client, like doctors, lawyers, CPAs, 3, 4, just a handful of people? This, I hope you're paying attention, because this is absolute gold. This is worth 10 times the amount of the ticket that you paid to get here. Build a bio page for every single practitioner that is at the business. Every dentist that's there, every dental hygienist, every CPA, they have to have clients, every lawyer. Build a bio page. This bio page is like a resume, okay? Or like a CV if you're from Europe, a curriculum vitae, I think it's called. This has to have all this information about this person, who they are. I'll wait for you to take a picture. There's another one. Okay, here's some ideas. What is the name, obviously, but where did they go to school? Why do I want to put the name of the school this person went to? Because it's all about relationships. It's all about what? Relationships. At what time are you waking up tomorrow morning? 2 o'clock. And you're going to think of, and underneath your pillow there will be what card? What card will be underneath the pillow? Hold it up. The Jetsons, or maybe a cooler car like, who had the coolest car here? The DeLorean. You go I wish I had the DeLorean. Their job title. their credentials, their colleague. Now, why would I put up colleague on their bio page? Colleagues of Dr. John Smith is connections or relationships. Nice. All right. A description, blah, 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 the picture. Have a picture. Why? Why have a picture of this person? They'll see a picture, and what they will do, they will associate that picture with the entity of Dr. John Smith. Cool? And it will show up in Google in image search. Social pro.
Do
Huh?
that even if they're not blogging on the site? You still think we should put up?
Oh yeah, because you're creating the entity of this doctor, Dr. John Smith, and then also Dr. Mary. Every other doctor there, you want to create an entity card for them, right?
So you
Yeah.
think it'll impact the YMYL even if they're not publishing in their name now?
Yes. Now, as an aside, I see there's some hands up, but as an aside, when you have blog posts, guess what? At the bottom, you can word it however you like. You can say, this blog post was written by, or reviewed by, or authorized by Dr. John Smith at the bottom of the blog post. Okay? Question here?
Yes. To what extent do you think it's important that it appears on the page rather than just in schema?
My opinion is that schema should reflect what's on the page. If you make up stuff in schema that is not on the page, Google's going to go, naughty boy, we've caught you. Right? So if it's in schema, put it on the page. I mean, why not, right? That's just my opinion.
So put colleagues of blah,
I'm
blah,
thinking
blah,
like
blah,
I think like same as related.
You could, yeah, maybe some things like that, like the same as, but like where they went to school, for sure, right? What do they know about? Put that down there too. You can't say specializes in, if you're in medical, you can't say their specialties are, okay? Let's see here, okay. This, I know you can't see it, I made it small on purpose, so you can't take any pictures of it. You can't see it even if you're up close. But when you get this is basically my blueprint for a bio page. So when you get the slides, Chris, they get the slides, right? Yeah. If you were on time to here, you get the slides. If you were late, go see Chris.
I see how you are.
I know, yeah. So this basically is my brain dump using a mind map of everything about this doctor. Like where they went to school, what memberships do they belong to, everything about this particular dentist. So I'll skip that. Here, this is some resources. Oh, look, I might finish early. Okay, so resources, textrazor.com. I love that tool because you can dump in content and it will give you all the entities and all the different parts of speech and other stuff. You'll get the slides unless you were late. I told you not to take pictures. TextRazor is really cool. I love it. There's a paid version. It doesn't cost much. It gives you a ton of information. Schema.zone is my tool. Just
How much is that?
Schema Zone.
Yes.
It's like $49 a month or something.
What's the state of search discount code?
I was wondering, is it like projects, like 5 projects, 1 project? How does it?
No,
how
there's
many entities does it
no, there's
identify?
no. I mean, you get API credits because everything I do on that, it uses TextRazor in the back end. So there's like 300 credits a month. I'm actually going to change it, add to it soon to do an entity explorer. So if you wanted to make a ham sandwich, you can go like explore all the entities and learn about all these different types of lettuce and tomatoes and anchovies. Okay, so that's a selfish. I don't know. A plug.
Self-promotion.
Self-promotion. Thank you, Lisa. Thank you. I didn't ask her to ask those questions, but yeah.
I can speak to his tools, by the way. They're really great.
Thank you. So Schema Zone, even though it's called Schema Zone, there's a whole bunch of entity stuff in there. I'm lazy. I create tools that do stuff that I don't want to do. Okay, and I'm too cheap to pay someone for it. I just develop it. ChatGPT, again, Inspect what you expect. Okay. Okay. ChatGPT. Inspect what you expect. Cool. Like, see, ChatGPT, Google NLP. If you really want to get into the linguistics, I think there's probably one person in this room that will. You'll hear from her tomorrow. Is wordnet.princeton.edu. You'll learn about hypernyms, hypernyms, meronyms, and other ims. So there's that. There's a really good piece of content on Search Engine Land written by a good friend of mine, Andrew Ansley. Anyone know him? Andrew Sterling Ansley. He's been on Search Engine Land and places for a while. This is a really good piece. It's pretty in-depth, but read it, put it under the pillow, and you'll just absorb it overnight. Entity clouds. This is like magic. Okay, if you want to do one thing that will supercharge your website, entityclouds.com. What this does, and it's a friend of mine, but I don't put junk up there that would not help you. Entity clouds, what it does, it helps associate with known entities on your website. It's not schema. It's injected into the page at runtime. I forget how he explained it. But what it does, it helps the bots go through the page and associate any entity it finds that on the page that you define with known entities. So it's building up that graph. In fact, let me go back several slides. Because remember, this is what you want to do. What Entity Clouds is doing is associating, oh, can I do this? Yeah, it's associating this, your website, with this massive universe of known entities. So that's Entity Clouds. And still okay. Content Sprout is also written by Andrew. It creates really, really good supporting content. I think it's like $48, maybe $100 a month. If you want some really good entity-dense content that is supporting content, go check out Content Sprout. I think it's a 7-day trial. Really, really, really good content it produces. I talked about the importance of schema. I've got 2 minutes left. So schema is uber important. It goes hand in hand with entities. So who likes schema in this room? Half of you. The ones that didn't put your hand up, why don't you like schema? Is it too complicated? Sounds sketchy? Schema, sketchy, yeah, I can see that. So it helps to understand, oh, there's that word again. It helps the search engines understand the relationships between your entity and other known entities, like your entity card. And man, look at that. I finished 45 seconds early. Whoa. So let's bring on some questions. In fact, while you're thinking of questions, I need to have a drink.
We asked him if he went along.
All right. What are some things that you picked out of this presentation? What's the most memorable things out of this presentation besides anchovies? Lisa.
So I always have trouble understanding.
Can you stand up, Lisa?
I always have trouble understanding entities, and I've been in this world for a long, long time. And so I really like how you explained the ham sandwich and you remove the extra words to explain that, because I have trouble explaining it to other people. So that is going to help me to explain it to some of my team members in an easier way. So that was a big takeaway from it.
Cool. Thank you, Lisa. And who else? At least something they'll think about when you wake up at 2 o'clock in the morning. When you guys wake up at 2 in the morning, tomorrow morning, what are you going to think about from this presentation?
Then I need to register a schema.com account.
Okay. What else? I mean, seriously, folks, when you wake up at 2 in the morning and you think of this presentation, think, that guy was awesome because of, yes?
There was a nice graph that showed the relationship between words. That's probably the thing I keep thinking of.
The big cloud with your website.
I like the graph that showed, dentist, and then it would be, these words that kind of go along with that.
Oh, right. Yeah. Okay. Yes.
I think the next time I'll see or look around, I'll keep thinking about the the relationships, the entities. Like, okay, if I see a human, a person also, I'll keep thinking. So it's there in my mind now.
When you see a
Pretty
person,
clear. Meaning, like, here we have a food or a thing, right? When you see a person, like, for example, you, I'll keep thinking about, okay,
this handsome guy that you saw, yeah, with the,
and yeah, the company, your skills and everything like that.
Mhm.
So it's pretty clear now, the entities.
When you look around anywhere you are from now on, from this day forward, you'll see entities everywhere. You'll go back home with your significant other, if you have kids, like, look, there's an entity. Like, if you look on the table now, tell your neighbor, the good-looking neighbor, what entities you see on the table. Look, hey, cups, straws, tablecloth, like, yeah, MacBook, okay. You see like glasses on people's face, you see hair, you see logos, you see all sorts of stuff. You will walk out of this room today and you'll go, look, there's an entity. There's an entity. You'll go like entity crazy. And you'll do this forever. You'll wake up in the morning to an entity that you'll hit because it makes a noise. And it might play a song that is an entity. So you'll